All right, welcome to my first artist vlog. I've been waiting a few years to be able to do this, and now that it's 2026, I'm finally having the courage to starting my YouTube. In this video, I'll go through kind of what's happening on the screen here. This is coming in to work on a couple projects, and then I'll also tell you about how I decided to become an artist and what my goals are for 2026. So, this is a shared studio space called Spare Room in downtown Barrie. I share this space with about 6 or 7 artists, and we have a pretty great community here. All our styles are vastly different, which is awesome because when we're critiquing, everyone gives a different, brings a different perspective, which is awesome. Uh, my studio is definitely the messiest. I am the typical abstract artist, leaving everything um, uncapped, not sharpening anything. Just, it's always a disaster. Um, these are a few of my paintings for a nostalgia series I'm doing. So, this one is about me driving home during COVID from Vancouver to Barrie, and Pickle Lake is in Manitoba. This one is about going to California on a trip with some friends. These are all made with the acrylic mostly, but mixed media. So I use pastels and markers and crayons. This one is about the toy car that we all grew up with in the 90s. I definitely love painting millennial imagery. And then I think I'm going to come around my studio space here and show you a few more of my paintings. So I mix and match doing non-representational art and representational art. So I go through periods. It's definitely like an ADHD thing where I'll do a series of like 5 or 6 paintings and then I'll move on to something totally different. So lately I've been into this nostalgia series. This is a male unicorn. It's about me growing up. But sometimes I do landscapes. Sometimes I just do full non-representational art. It's kind of how I feel at the moment. Um, this is one of the spaces at Spare Room. It is kind of like our lounge area. So if we have like events, we hold a free event called First Friday, which is the first Friday of every month, where it's open to the community and we'll do like printmaking or we'll have an artist come and talk about their work. Right now, we're just getting it set up. One of my friends there is setting up a library of all the art books she has. I've been here for about probably 3 years now, and it's honestly been a blessing to find a community since moving back from Vancouver. You really don't know where to go. I never have been a part of a shared studio space, and for the price for what we get, it's amazing. The community alone is awesome. The connection with other artists is awesome. It's really catapulted my idea that it is possible to go from a part-time artist to full-time. I do work a full-time office job, and as I'm sure a lot of you know, it's very difficult to work on your practice after the 9 to 5, but I truly believe if it is something that you really want, it is possible. So I'll come here to the studio a few times a week after work, and then on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I'll come in for a few hours and get some stuff done. So this was on a Saturday, and I am working on doing my edges of 5 or 6 canvases in my nostalgia series, because I'm preparing to do an outdoor art fair. And by preparing for an outdoor art fair, I mean I am doing the application in the next week or so. And I've never applied to a real outdoor art fair that only has paintings, like originals. I've done more craft shows. So this will be my first major outdoor art fair, which will be the Toronto Outdoor Art Fair in, I think, July or August. To apply for the show, you need a cohesive body of work, and you need to do a picture mock up, which that's why I'm getting all this ready earlier so I could do a mock up on one of the gallery walls that we have of about 5 or 6 pieces of my new collection. I'm looking to do 2 or 3 art shows this year. I really want to focus on making art my plan A. It's so easy to make your art your plan B. And I think a lot of us kind of have been there in life where, our 9 to 5 takes over our life. And then in a blink of an eye, it's like been years, and you're like, okay, I haven't been working on my practice. I've been too stressed at work. So I've really, this year, I'm going to reverse it. So my art is number one. I rather be tired at work during my 9 to 5, and yeah, I'll still be tired painting, but at least I'll feel fulfilled doing that, if that makes sense. So I'm looking to do probably another 10 pieces before July. I think I have 5 or 6 in this collection. And then I do have some other abstract landscapes and non representational work that I can kind of fit in the booth. And I think it would still look like, it would still look cohesive to me. I'm definitely a believer in that your style can bounce towards different subject matters. I believe that, you know, like if you're an artist, you're definitely tapping into your childhood nostalgia and your inner child. So it's only natural for artists to continually be growing and kind of experimenting with their style. But I could still tell, if one of my friends did a landscape and say they do portraits, I could still tell it's their style just by the way the brushstrokes are and the way their color palette is, if that makes sense. Like the painting in the back will probably be my last painting in my nostalgia series, and this one's being named "Outgrowing Your Childhood Bedroom." And you can see I just did the first layer of the painting, or a bit of the first layer, and that's supposed to be my bedroom with all the clothes laying on the floor. And then you can't see it in this shot, but there is like pine trees growing out of the bedroom, kind of like saying that we have outgrown our bedroom, but the nature is also being overgrown with you leaving. So I'll give you a bit of a backstory about me. My name is Chris Nelson. I was born in Barrie, Ontario, and I was always artistic, but mostly just like doodles or, joking around. I loved making videos with my friends in elementary school or high school, that kind of creativity. I always had an inkling that I wanted to paint. It's hard to explain if you haven't experienced it, but it's like you knew you wanted to be or had to be an artist, but you just didn't know how or where or when. I did take a still life class, and I bought all the artists' paints, and I went to class, and I didn't vibe with the teacher, and I didn't know how to draw well, and it just didn't go well. And I felt like, okay, well, it's not this. So I stopped painting for a few years after attempting that. And then I moved to Alberta about 10 years ago, and I was serving at the keg, and I met this now really good friend named Jude. She is a bit older than me, and we really hit it off, and she's very creative. And one night I went to hers, and she said, okay, we're going to do a painting night. Let's get a bottle of wine. And we had crab for some reason. And I said, no, 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 I can't paint at all. I don't know what I'm doing. And she's like, just have fun. And I still have that first painting. It's like of a tree, but I rolled up like tissue paper to make it like kind of 3D. And I even like color blocked it. It just looked, I was like, wow, this is so fun. I was just so immersed in it. And I literally got addicted right after that. Jude Warrington is a Canadian abstract landscape artist. She now lives overseas, but yeah, she taught me everything I know, and I do consider her my first mentor. She taught me how to use paints, how to layer, how to texturize things. Um, she really taught me to not use every color in the tube because for a while I would just grab any color and it just looked like a rainbow unicorn puked all over the canvas. So I really don't think I would have be painting if it wasn't for meeting Jude. And it keeps me up at night, literally, thinking about how we meet people in our lives and there's certain things that become of us because we met them. And if we didn't meet these people, what would have changed? And for me, it's drastic. Like my whole life is now centered around art. And it just, yeah, really gets to me that I just moved away from home and just met this great friend, and she taught me how to paint, and it stuck with me. So, back to the studio, I am cleaning up my awful desk. It's been a disaster for probably a few months now. And because I use an array of materials like pastels, oil pastels, chalk pastels, neo color markers, crayons, charcoal, acrylic paint. It just continually just gets out of place and it just turns into a big disaster. So here is me organizing with this bin I found outside of my condo complex, and I just decided to organize my paints from color. So I did the cools and warms, and then I did like light and dark together. I usually bring my lunch when I know I'm going to be here for a few hours on the weekend. And I'll just sit down and kind of just decompress, um, especially after painting. But I think after dealing with the choice fatigue of putting everything away and like thinking about, okay, where is this piece of chalk gonna go? Where is this acrylic paint gonna go? I just felt so burnt out by this point. But I enjoy the calmness that this brings, just going into the studio on the weekend and just having some time for myself. I would definitely say I'm a more extroverted introvert. So I definitely come off as a very extroverted person, which definitely gets me in trouble because I am introverted internally, but I show as extroverted. So people can't read it on me when I'm like screaming inside when I'm surrounded by so many people. But back at the studio, I get back up and I'm just finishing the other sides of the canvases. So at the studio, we do as many group shows as we can get everyone together to do. We do have a cowboy show currently up in the gallery, and I'll be sure to take a film of that for my next video. It's really cool. I have a few pieces in there, and yeah, we just all agreed on the Western theme, so that's awesome. There is a local gallery in town called the McLaren Art Center. They're pretty supportive of local artists, so they always have artist calls out. A few of them I've been in for a few years that I think are pretty cool. There's one called Off the Hook, where you donate 50% of the sales of the artwork that you put in the show. So 50% goes to McLaren Art Center, and then the other 50% goes to the artist. and people usually dress up for it. All the art looks amazing. They curate it so beautifully, and it's an auction. So they have a piece of paper beside your artwork, and then the person with the highest bid at the end of the night gets to take it home. So I love that. Then they have a benefactor show where if you want to participate, you bring in a painting and they curate it again, and the room looks awesome. And people come in and they bid on the piece of work that they get to rent. So for $1 a day, they get to take your artwork home, and that is donated to the McLaren Art Center. And then at the end of the year, they get to decide if they want to keep the painting in their home. And so they can buy it off the artist. I find a lot of the time they just replace it for the new painting they find the next year. But I still think it's pretty cool that someone has a piece of your artwork in their home for a year. So I always definitely apply to that. If you're still watching, make sure to subscribe on YouTube so you can get a notification for when I release my new video. I am going to try to release them every Saturday. I think getting the first one out is kind of catapulting me. I've said catapulted like 3 times in this video. It's really put the fire under my pants to like continue to do this. Um, so I'm excited to make these long form videos. I am getting kind of burnt out from the short form videos that Instagram and TikTok rely on people to do, and I've always enjoyed long form videos. I enjoy watching other artists on this channel, and I'll make a coffee and I'll just relax and I'll just watch them paint or talk about their day in their life, or uh, just their creative process. I love that. So if you're another artist on here, definitely give me a follow. I would love to connect with you. Even send me a DM or leave a message in the comments. I love to connect with other artists, um, and just pick your brain. If you want, please leave your name and your practice and where you're located in the comments, and we should connect. I will also have to get my cat Merlin in a video soon. I think everyone will love him. Everyone loves Merlin. He is a short-haired Persian. He's staring at me right now as I'm filming my audio. He is the cutest thing in the world. He has no chin and his face is squished in. He looks like a pancake, but we love him just as much. And because he has no nose or chin, he'll just dip his whole face into the water bowl. So for the first few months that I got him, I had to wipe him down fully multiple times a day with a cloth because it would just be soaked. And I only figured out recently that I put a coffee mug out, so his little head can only fit slightly into the coffee mug, and he doesn't get his chin all wet. So that's been a big win for us here at the house. Thank you for watching my first video vlog. Definitely subscribe to me on YouTube to see what happens in the upcoming weeks with my projects. And give me a follow on Instagram or TikTok if you like. And of course, I have prints available in my Etsy shop, which is linked to my bio.